Hello and welcome to Dil Ki Recipes. I'm Dr. Sheeza Mohsin and you are with me on Dil Ki Recipes on your favorite social media platform. Dil Ki Recipes is your source of balanced research and professional experience-based, not to mention culturally informed support for you and your Desi family in America. I am your relationship expert and coach and your virtual coach on life and relationships. So if you are a Desi with cultural roots in Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and surrounding areas, trying to meet your life and relationship needs and desires while embracing some beautiful elements of your cultural heritage, Dil Ki Recipes is for you. There's lots of commonalities in our lives, relationships, joys and struggles, and my hope is that this material will really help expand your perspective and give you some clarity on how to think about things, ultimately making you feel better and sorted about your life and relationships. For more information, check out dilkirecipes.com and get on the list to be informed of our webinars and workshops. My book, Behind Closed Doors, is available on Amazon in Kindle as well as paperback format. Remember to send your questions about relationships to info@dilkirecipes.com and I'll try my best to make a video and post a response as soon as possible, because if you're thinking about it, there are probably many others who are as well, but they may not be as proactive about connecting with you. Today's episode is about Gary Chapman's 5 love languages and my addition of a couple other love languages in the South Asian culture. Remember, it's really, really important for you to have that perspective in mind that our very, very, very special culture is not very good at love languages in general. I'm not saying everyone is like that. And this is why this was one of the first things I wanted to talk about. If you notice anyone, starting with our parents' generation, we basically suck at showing love. I didn't have a better way of saying it. I come across very few families and I have a significant practice. I'm a fairly social person and rarely do I come across a family that is so expressive in their love, in validating their loved ones. So I think Gary Chapman did a fantastic job of organizing this simple model, but I would like to explain this to you in somewhat a cultural context. And I'll add a couple of other love languages that are culturally appropriate for us, because a lot of times we are creative in how we validate others and how we love on, our parents' generation. We try our best, but sometimes we struggle in this area. Very interesting for me. I go through this all the time with my clients as families, as parents, because everyone has a very unique way in how they want to receive love. So this is really important for you to know that how you like receiving love may not be how your parent, your partner, your sibling, your friends, your children might like to receive love. So paying attention to what they like is important. And a lot of times what ends up happening is that we like giving love the way we like to receive it, which doesn't land really well, because in our heart, we're making such an effort. It's a bid for connection in any of those relationships. And then when it doesn't land well, there's a little bit of disappointment. And I've heard this constantly from so many people. Let me go through the list of the 5 love languages. They are acts of service, quality time, gifts and presents, physical touch or intimacy, and words of affirmation, as Gary Chapman describes them. I want to talk about it from a Desi South Asian family perspective and talk about how these love languages show up in our culture. So I will start with the one that shows up in the Desi community a lot, and that is, my friends, acts of service. So how does a Desi parent show love? They help you out in whatever way they can. Moms can do your laundry, food, helping with cleaning, errands. Same goes for a Desi wife or a Desi husband in a traditional family, and even otherwise. It's like a big thing, helping others. A lot of times I notice that work-at-home wives or moms are going to say, if you want to give me a day off, I don't want to cook. I don't want to clean. I don't want to do laundry. So acts of service or relieving your partners who do, or your parents who do these acts of service, is also a great way to show a love language. So anything that is maintenance-based, that is necessary for daily living, comes under act of service. Very well present in our culture. The negative side effect of that is especially showing up for men and boys, because, we have male privilege in our culture. And so mommies do all this stuff for for the boys who become men. And when they get married, their wives don't understand why this is such a big love language for them. Feed me, do my laundry, and all of that. Because in today's day and age, there's a little bit better equity, especially gender equity in terms of chores and helping out here in North America. As a Desi person, it's very, very confusing because you're not just sharing the load. Sometimes a Desi boy or man doesn't feel loved because he has to do house chores. And then, of course, it doesn't help when parents magnify that when they notice him doing house chores. Why am I saying that? Because it definitely brings marital strain in a relationship. A lot of feelings of resentment happen with partners sometimes when men are not helping out in the same way, especially if the husbands and wives are both working outside of the home. There's a bigger burden of acts of service that comes from the cultural expectation for girls and women to take care of these things. So again, acts of service shows up as a big one in terms of a language of love in the Desi culture. The next one I will talk about is material presents and gifts. This is another love language familiar to our culture. So buying presents on religious and cultural holidays, special occasions, rewarding someone with gift, whether it's technology for a kid or for doing well in school. It's really, really valued as we are evolving, for people who can financially afford them, experiences. So travel or massage days or spa days and vacations are also overlapping love languages with the next one that I will talk about, which is quality of time. But again, these things cost money usually or effort to make. So a lot of people in the Desi community will indulge, and you will be very familiar with getting a gift for Valentine's or birthdays or anniversaries for your partner, or for the same things for your parents or siblings and close friends. I also want to iterate something as I'm talking about this, and that is your love languages may vary, and you might notice a difference in how they're expressed based on your socioeconomic background and also your cultural background, which will influence your experience. So, for example, if you are a family with limited financial means that is eating at home most of the time, then eating out becomes a special present where there's an investment made to eat out, right? It's fine dining or something special, even a vacation or travel. But when you are financially affluent, a family eating out all the time is a common thing. So something more special for that family would be, and even for any family, would be when a partner or a child or a parent cooks for you at home. Now that's novelty. So gifting, things like that, experience is different because of the novelty effect. Again, anything that's new, different, unique is appreciated more, and anything that you get all the time is not appreciated as much. As in Urdu, there is a quote that says, "Ghar ki murgi dal barabar." So, you're getting home cooked meals, absolutely envious. If you have family members doing that for you, very sweet. And so very important for that to be taken into account as you are expressing or thinking of a way to express your appreciation and love for your loved ones. Another of the love languages is quality time. This is also very important for spending time with all your relationships, with your partner, and not just, and I'll talk about marriage and committed relationships. So it's not just about fine dining and date nights. It could very well be watching TV together. Many couples enjoy this time and, being around each other, just being in each other's presence, maybe cuddling and doing their own thing, or, watching your reels on the phone, etc. Sharing those things are elements to consider. Of course, vacations and experiences like that are also part of quality time, but there's a big price tag to them. So please don't think quality time is just taking a vacation. It could be taking a walk. It could be, for those of you who work away from each other, it could be working out together. So depending on your lifestyle, you can customize a lot of these quality time moments. I will tell you, and I'm sure most of you who come from the Desi world are aware of this, a bid for connection, for quality time, is sharing a cup of chai with a loved one. It's really important. It's interesting in my practice. A lot of my clients love coming over when they come in person because most of my practice is virtual. I have clients out of state, out of country, in different continents. But when they are here in person, I definitely make them a cup of chai, and that's a shared experience. Now, when siblings are sitting to talk, when partners are sitting to talk, when your partner partner tells you to make a cup of chai for you, that's a bit of her connection as well. Of course, you might be one of those people who make really good chai, so you might get more requests in that space. But, simple quality time could be going out for a drive to have ice cream or feeling each other's presence. It's really important with your children, with anybody that you care for. The next one that I will talk about is physical touch. It means intimacy for couples, but it's not limited to that. It means hugging and cuddling for family members, for children. Children need a lot of that love and kisses and hugs and cuddles. And also your romantic relationship. Sometimes just holding hands is very important. Go on a drive and hold hands or watch a movie while cuddling with each other. Romantic experiences, of course, sensuality, all of those is very important. And I will talk about that in a marriage committed relationship setting. It's an important love language. A lot of times men are more expressive in this space, and really their way to connect or show appreciation and love to their partner is by making love to them. So it's an important thing. And many women as well who have a healthy libido will prefer that. So please pay attention to this language of love. It's really important. And I will tell you, as far as loving on, hugging children, a lot of times there are cultural faith influences. You want to tune into how your child wants to feel that physical touch. Do they prefer hugs? Do they prefer cuddles? It's really important to pay attention to this love language. The last one from Gary Chapman's list that I will talk about for a minute, which is really important. And guys, if there is one skill you want to develop, you want to really strengthen your ability to do this, and that's words of affirmation. This is a very important love language which applies to all relationships. It is so important. So whether it's your parents, whether it's your children, whether it's your siblings, friends, your partner, especially even colleagues at work, noticing someone and affirming that you are noticing how they're showing up, appreciating them is a critical element, and it will bring so much positivity to your life. This is definitely an important one to work on. Your competence and capacity in your generosity in words, in affirmations, in specific feedback, taking a minute to notice the intricacies as you praise. So it is very personable to the person who is receiving that. It's a beautiful gift. Unfortunately, in our Desi culture, I hear this from so many of my clients that parents will say good job or nice, and then the list of criticisms will start. And that constant feedback that keeps coming, I would invite you to consider doing the opposite. Find ways, go out of your way to praise your child. Your adult children need it as well. Your partner needs it. Your children need it. It's a really important thing. A lot of times when we do a good job, when we're being loyal, loving, we're looking for somebody to notice that. Continue talking about that in future episodes, because building some skills and competence in this area is also very important. I want to talk for a little bit about one that I think is obvious. It's obvious in many cultures, not just ours, but it's also important that you notice how your parents' generation expresses love. Because in our culture, saying I love you is not very common. It doesn't come naturally to many parents in the Desi culture. How do they show love? The universal language of love for families, especially Desi families, is, yes, you guessed it right, food. A Desi mom will not say, I love you, as much as they will ask you what you want to eat. And if you have eaten, that is their way of telling you they love you and they care about you. So when your mom asks you that next time, if you think of it at face value, you might get annoyed. But if you think of it, she's trying to express her love when she's asking me, are you okay? Can I do something for you? Can I take care of food? Can I bring you food? It's their way to show you love and care. So it's really important that when they're trying to feed you, you know that it's a love language in our culture. It's their way of thinking in a very fond way of you when they ask you to eat. So it's really important to validate them for their food. And so remember, food is a love language. All right, the final one that I want to just spend a few seconds talking about, and we will talk about this in depth because, I'm actually putting together a workshop on this as well. A significant love language that I have noticed in marriage that I introduce to my couples all the time is how you treat your partner's family. I have been working with couples for over a decade, almost 12 years, and worked with hundreds of them, not just Desi couples, but even couples who are multicultural. And I've noticed that it's almost like when the husband sees that the wife is getting along with his mother or chatting with the sister and can really settle well in that space, space, it's a whole different level of contentment. Or when the wife notices that the husband is hanging out with her brothers or her dad, or taking care of mom, or being a mentor, or just connecting and helping her side of the family and laughing with them, the peace of mind and the mental shift that I notice in couples is very phenomenal, where it's almost like they're saying, I did okay. Look at him, look at her. So couples, I will tell you that as you look at nurturing and strengthening your relationships, it would be absolutely important to pay attention to your partner's family. Now, having said that, I know that in-laws are not the easiest cup of tea. So I definitely will encourage you to figure out a balance. But when you are collaborating, hanging out, integrating with your in-laws, you are really giving your partner the gift that they don't feel like they have to split themselves and choose between one or the other because one does not want to be around the other. It's a beautiful gift you can consider giving. Yes, take deep breaths because I'm telling you to do something difficult, but I will tell you whatever you can do. And again, I'm not telling you to go to extremes, and manage your boundaries and be respectful, but definitely be more tolerant and understanding and open to this love language that is very, very cultural and shows up all the time. This is all I have for now. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found some of this information useful. Some important things to remember: every situation is different. Your issues are not going to be resolved overnight. The most important thing that needs to change is you and your approach, not others. That's why it's important to keep on learning new things, better ways of communicating in all your relationships, so your mind and heart keep growing and your relationships can grow stronger. So when you know better, you do better. Be kind to yourself and those around you. Remember one thing that you are grateful for today and plan to find a reason to laugh. Remember to subscribe and follow me on your favorite social media platforms. Wishing you peace.